Hi everyone, here's Dr. Ayushi. So, we start with Aconitum Napellus. This is our third remedy. The common name is monk shoot and the family is Ranunculaceae. Okay, how you can learn this Ranunculaceae? Like Aconite patient is so much anxious, like the anxious people is always run, 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 run. So you can remember by this name that Ranunculaceae. Okay, the other drug of Ranunculaceae family is Actia resmosa. Okay, so we go for constitution. Constitution is generally indicated in acute or recent cases occurring in young persons, especially girls of full plethoric habits who lead a sedentary life. Like remember, sedentary life, like fully rest, and persons easily affected by atmospheric changes, and the other is dark hair and eyes and rigid muscular fiber. Like see, this is important, rigid muscular fiber. Okay, and like the drug is sabadilla, there is relaxed muscular fiber. And do you remember that last day we read acetic acid, there is lax flabby muscle fiber, and in aconite rigid muscle fiber, and in sabadilla relaxed muscle fiber. Like you have to remember by this that you have to remember everything. Do a more and more revision and you will remember everything of materia medica in materia medica. Okay, next, so the constitution is indicated in acute and recent cases, and especially in young persons who lead a sedentary life, and there is rigid muscular fiber, and relaxed muscular fiber is sabadilla, and lax and flabby muscle fiber is acetic acid. Okay, the next point is mental generals. Like see, great fear and anxiety of mind. Like see, do you remember that? Did you remember that I told you that anxious? Like this person is so much anxious, and anxious people are always run. So you can remember ranunculus, run like ranunculus. So you have to remember everything with trick. Okay. So mental is great fear and anxiety of mind with great nervous excitability, afraid to go out. See, afraid, and to go into a crowd, afraid, where there is any excitement or many people, afraid. Then next, afraid, fearfulness is to cross the street. So remember, the core point of aconite is fearfulness, afraid, anxious. This is the core point of aconite. And the next is the countenance is expressive of fear. Okay, the what you know what is countenance? This is मुखाकृति. लाइक देखने से भी ऐसा लग जाता है कि इस पेशेंट में बहुत ज्यादा फियर है, डर लग रहा है. नेक्स्ट इज द लाइफ इज रेंडर्ड miserable by fear, again fear. And you know what, this patient is sure about that his disease will prove fatal, like he will die. He predicts the day he will die. And the next fear is fear of death during pregnancy. And you know what is in actia resmosa simicifuga, there is postpartum mania. Like after delivery there is so much fear, so much mania in actia resmosa. And fear of death during pregnancy, there is aconite napellus. Okay, when we read actia resmosa, we will again go for aconite. Okay, remember, listen. The next point is restless, anxious, does everything in great haste. Haste means jaldi, fast. Must change position often, and everything startles him. Okay, restless, so much anxious, so much fearfulness. The next point is Henneman says whenever aconite is chosen homeopathically, like see carefully. Whenever aconite is chosen homeopathically, you must above all observe the moral symptoms like mind symptoms and be careful that it closely resembles them. The anguish of mind and body, the restlessness, the disquiet, not to be allied, like so much restlessness in mind and body. And the next point is this mental anxiety, worry, fear accompanies the most trivial element. Like most trivial बोले तो तुच्छ, so much तुच्छ. Like this anxiety can brings the most trivial element. Like एक छोटी सी चीज भी ना इसको बहुत ज्यादा फियर दे देती है, एंड टेंशन दे देती है, एंजाइटी दे देती है. The next is musical. Music is unbearable. Like this is important. Music is unbearable, makes her sad. And SAB, this is Sabina. Go for Sabina, page number 266 during menses. Okay, Sabina, we go for Sabina. Like I told that in Sabadella, relaxed muscular fiber. and go for Sabina. Like, see, Sabina, mental general's music is intolerable, and in Aconite, music is unbearable, makes her sad. Like, you have to differentiate by these points. Like in Aconite, music is unbearable, makes her sad, and in Sabina, music is intolerable, produces nervousness, goes through bone and marrow. In Aconite, page number 266, right? And in Sabina, page number 4 of Aconite, right? Okay. And yes, you can write page number 265 of Sabadella here when you read Constitution of Aconite. Okay. And the next medicine is Natrum Carb. Go for page number 212. Yes, Natrum Carb 211. Uh, like, see, third point, attacks of anxiety and restlessness during a thunderstorm. This is important. Like, anxiety and restlessness is in Aconite also, but in Natrum Carb the word is during a thunderstorm. This is important. And again, medicine is phosphorus, and this is aggravation by music, aggravate from music. And Sabadilla too. Sabadilla, there is music aggravation, but in medicine this is not given, but in Natrum Carb this is given. Okay. So, Natrum Carb, attacks of anxiety and restlessness and during a thunderstorm and aggravation from music. And in Aconite, music is unbearable, makes her sad. And in Sabina, there is music is intolerable, produces nervousness, goes through bone and marrow. And in Thuja, you know what is in Thuja given? There is music causes weeping. Like, see, yes, I write it. Thuja, music causes weeping. When we read Thuja, we will go for this. Okay. Again, now go for our drug Aconite. Yes. The physical general symptom, complaints caused by exposure to dry cold air. And you know what, the amplification of Aconite is also in the open air, but aggravation is dry cold air. And dry north or west winds, or aggravation from exposure to draft of cold air while in a perspiration. You know what is perspiration? This is sweating, so much sweating. And bad effects of check perspiration. Do you remember that in Abrotenum page number 1 that there is check diarrhea, rheumatism? Yes, go for Abrotenum. Yes, rheumatism alternate, no, rheumatism from suddenly check diarrhea or other secretions. Yes, like, you have to remember by these things. Okay. In Abrotenum, check diarrhea, and in Aconitum Napellus, there is check perspiration. Okay, the next point is for the congestive stage of inflammation before localization takes place. Okay, congestive stage of inflammation. Yes. And the next, turn the next page and go for Aconitum Napellus again. Yes. The pains are intolerable. And you know what? The music is unbearable. And music intolerable is in Savina, and unbearable is Aconite. There's pain also are intolerable, and they drive him crazy. Like, there is so much pain. And during pain, he becomes very restless and pains, especially at night. Yes. So pain makes him so much restless. And you know what? In acetic acid, there is night sweats. And in Aconite, there is night pain during night. Yes. And female reproductive system. The amenorrhea in plethoric young girls. Like, you know what is plethoric young girls? Like, doesn't look pale. Like, they are so much plethoric. There is so much blood in them. And after fright, to prevent suppression of menses. Okay. In फीमेल्स लाइक एमेनोरिया एंड प्लेथोरिक यंग गर्ल्स एंड एमेनोरिया किसकी वजह से होता है ड्यू टू फ्राइट आफ्टर फ्राइट एंड एमेनोरिया टू प्रिवेंट सप्रेशन ऑफ मेंसेस yes this fear leads to suppression of menses like when you see aconite there is core point is fearfulness like constitution young girls okay who lead sedentary life who have who has dark hair and eyes and who has rigid muscular fiber there is fearfulness and it leads to amenorrhea like this is the point of aconite. See next respiratory system cough croup okay cough croup what's the point next given dry hoarse suffocating loud rough croaking hard ringing whistling Okay, cough is dry, hot, suffocating, like so much suffocation there. Loud, rough, croaking, hard, ringing, whistling. Okay, and during cough when expiration, like सांस लेना, breathing in, sorry, breathing out. On expiration, breathing out. Sorry, I'm sorry. And like the remedy which is given is causticum. Like go for causticum, like page number 92. Yes, I read. Yes, 92. Yes, this is important. Hmm. Cough with rawness and soreness in chest. Like see, right page number of Aconite 4. Cough with rawness and soreness in chest with inability to expectorate. Like he can't even expectorate the cough. Sputum must be swallowed. उससे सब कुछ निकलना पड़ता है. And cough is relieved by drinking cold water. This is so much important point. Relieved by drinking cold water. Cough. Listen, listen, listen. Cough is relieved by drinking cold water. And cough on expiration is aconite. Like we read that in Aconite. And cough with pain in hips, like this is when we read Causticum, we read this. And do you remember that in Spongia? Okay, go for Spongia, page number 287. In Spongia, when the time of cough is, I add the page of Spongia. Yes, croup, anxious discharge, and during inspiration there is cough, and during and before midnight there is cough. But aggravation during expiration is aconite. Yes, write page number 4 of aconite here. Like in Spongia, I will take it down. I have to write aconite page number 4. Yes. Group anxious and wheezing, and aggravation during inspiration and aggravation before midnight is spongia, and aggravation during expiration is aconite, and aggravation before morning is hippar. Okay. And aggravation in the evening is carbovag and phosphorus. Aggravation in the morning is hippar. Go for aconite again, go for our drug. Yeah. And cough group is from dry cold winds of drafts of air. But you know what? This in amelioration is also in open air, and respiratory complaints are aggravate from dry cold winds or drafts of air. Okay, the next point is nervous system. On rising from a recumbent position, you know what is recumbent position? This is लेटा हुआ person. On rising from a recumbent position, the red face becomes deadly pale, or he becomes faint or giddy and falls. Like he fall, like there is so much deadly pale, and he fears to rise again. Like so much fear to rise again. Like see, like so much fearfulness. Often accompanied by vanishing of sight and unconsciousness. You know what? This position is what we should call this position. This is known as like mania. Orthostatic hypotension. This point is known as orthostatic hypotension. Convulsions. Next point is convulsion in our system. Convulsions of teething children. And you know what? Do you remember in Ethusa? There is also convulsion. Yes. When we read Ethusa, we will go for it. Like Ethusa, convulsions of teething children. Children who can't bear milk, incapacity to think, confused. Epileptic spasm, like in Ethusa nervous system, there is also epileptic spasm. When we read Ethusa, we will go for it. Okay. Convulsions of teething children, and convulsions in the next is heat, jerks, and twitches of single muscle, like single muscle twitch, and child knows its fist. Like you know what is fist? This is like muट्ठी. वो अपनी मुट्ठी को खाता है, मारता है. Yes. दांत से काटता है अपनी मुट्ठी को. He knows its fist, frets and screams, and in convulsion skin hot and dry and high fever. Like do you remember in acetic acid there is skin dry and hot, and in aconite there is skin also dry and hot. Okay, and face red or pale and red alternately. Alternately there is red and pale face, and In acetic acid, there is red spot on left cheek, and acetic acid face is also pale waxy. Okay. And abrotinum face is also pale, and opium face is dried up old man. Yes, you have to remember each and everything. Okay. And the next is fever. Fever, skin dry and hot, face red or pale and red alternately, and bringing thirst for large quantities of cold water. There is so much thirst for large quantity of cold water, but you know what? Do you remember that acetic acid? There is no thirst in fever. There is thirst during dropsy, diabetes, and diarrhea, but no thirst in fever. And in aconite, there is large quantity, like there is burning thirst for large quantities of cold water. Okay, in fever there is intense nervous restlessness. Yes, this is important. Restlessness and tossing about an agony, like वो विचलित हो जाता है. Tossing in the sense like कभी समझ नहीं आ रहा उसे कि अब क्या करे. Tossing about an agony, and fever becomes intolerable towards evening and on going to sleep. Like उसे डर लगता है रात को सोने से भी. So much intolerable. Aconite should never be given simply to control the fever. Yes, aconite should never be given simply to control the fever. Okay, listen. And never alternated with other drugs for that purpose. This is important. Never alternated with other drugs for that purpose. And if it be a case requiring aconite, then no other drug is needed. Aconite will cure the case. Aconite alone is so much sufficient uh, for the person to cure. Okay, the next point is unless indicated by the exciting cause. Okay, exciting cause is nearly always injurious in first stage of typhoid fever. Okay, is near in this is injurious in first stage of typhoid fever. Okay, if there is no indicated exciting cause, this is important. Okay, now the next is modalities. This is important. Modalities in aggravation during evening and night. Okay, and pains are insupportable. Pains are insupportable, and aggravation in a warm room. Aggravation in a warm room. Okay, like there is aggravation also, like you know what, do you remember in respiratory system there is from aggravation from cold winds or drafts of air, and there is also aggravation from warm room. Okay, and when rising from bed, aggravation, yes, there is, because there is so much anxiousness, there is so much weakness, there is so much restlessness, so when rising from bed there is aggravation. And the important is lying on affected side. Lying on affected side, there is aggravation. Yes, that you know what, in Hepar medicine page number go for 147. Causticum spongia Hepar. Yes, see, in Hepar aggravation lying on painful side. Okay, you have to write page number Aconite 4, lying on painful side. There is also Hepar, and the next point I can go for this is Aconite. Yes, and lying on affected side medicine is Vipar 147. There is also lying on painful side, and in Nux Moscus, page number go for 222. Nux Moscus. Yes, I take the page. Yes, I took the page. Yes, see. Modality is aggravation lying on painful side. This is Nux Moscus. Aggravation lying on painful side, and this is important. That on aggravation lying on painless side, this is pulsatilla. Yes. Lying on painless side, this is pulsatilla. This is important. You have to write page number Hipar 147, Aconite page number 4. Like in Nux Moscata. Okay. Oh my god, I don't took the page number. Okay, the next page. If you turn the next page of Aconite Napellus. रिलेशन, मैंने ये फोटो नहीं ली है पर मैं अभी इसमें ऐड करती हूँ, वेट एक सेकेंड. दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट एक्चुअली. ओके, yes, you know what, this is relation is complementary to coffee and fever. Okay, and sleeplessness and intolerance of pain, to arnica in traumatism, to sulfur in all cases. Yes, and rarely indicated in fever which brings out eruptions. This is important. This is so much important, that rarely indicated in fevers which bring out eruption. If there is eruptions, then please avoid aconite. But okay, everything is go for case taking and symptoms, but it is complementary. Like if we give coffee and fever, and sleeplessness and intolerance of pain, then you have to give with aconite and aconite with coffea. And this is complementary to arnica and traumatism. Like if there is traumatic condition, then you have to give arnica with aconite, and to sulfur in all cases, because aconite is the acute of sulfur. Acute, like aconite is like a small brother of sulfur. Okay, aconite is like a small brother of sulfur. Like sulfur, there is in chronic disease, and the aconite is in acute disease. Okay, aconite is the acute of sulfur, and both precede and follow it in acute inflammatory conditions. This is important. Okay, in acute inflammatory condition. Okay, now we revise drug. Like last day we learned about acetic acid, then today we revise acetic acid. It will take only 3 to 4 minutes, like acetic acid. Okay, this is adapted to pale, lean persons with lax, flabby muscles and face pale and waxy. Okay, adapted to pale, lean persons. Pale is abrotinum also pale, yes, and aconite is plethoric. Okay, and acetic acid is pale and lacks flabby muscle. And you know what? Acetic acid lacks flabby muscle, but aconite is rigid muscular muscle, and sabidilla is relaxed muscles. Okay, the next point is marasmus and other wasting disease of children. Marasmus, there is point in abrotinum. Abrotinum, marasmus of lower limb, and iodum, there is marasmus of what is in iodum? There is, I think, the scrofulous disease. Like go for page number 155. Wait. Yes. Scrofulous diathesis and profound debility and great emaciation. Okay, yes. And in sanicula, there is neck hang fold. Okay, tuberculinum, there is eating losing flesh even after eating well. And in natrum mure, na? Yes, natrum mure, losing flesh while living well. Okay. And the next is physical general hemorrhage from ferrum mat. Go for page number 132 of ferrum mat. Yes. There is women who are weak, delicate, like see and point liya tha. Women who are weak, delicate, chlorotic, yet have a fiery red face. There and in acetic acid there is also this kind of point. Okay. And the physical general, go for physical general hemorrhage. Hemorrhage from every mucous outlet, nose, throat, lungs, stomach, bowels, uterus. Okay, hemorrhage from every mucous outlet. And in millifolium, go for page number of millifolium, page number 206. Yes, hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is painless. Like you know what? Millifolium, common name is yarrow. Like yarrow के पास जाते ही दर्द भूल जाना. It means hemorrhage is painless, without fever, bright red fluid blood from lungs, bronchi, larynx, mouth, nose, stomach, bladder, rectum, uterus of mechanical origin. There is arnica also in mechanical origin. 41. Okay, the next, okay, millifolium, there is next point is hemoptysis after injury. Hemoptysis like bleeding, vomiting. After injury in incipient thysis. What incipient thysis is tightness in hemorrhoidal patients from ruptured blood vessel and cough with also with hemorrhoids. And you do remember in abdominum there is hemorrhoid, rheumatism alternate with hemorrhoids. Like you have to remember everything in by this way, with oppression and palpitation after a fall from a height. Okay, and cough after violent exertion with blood daily at 4 p.m. Yes, there is again go for acetic acid. These are drug. And hemorrhage in metrorrhagia like irregular menses, and vicarious menstruation like bleeding from any other organ after except from vagina, and traumatic epistaxis and arnica. Arnica, do you remember in 41 page number, like there is something eye, like eye point, hemorrhage from eyes. Yes, I remember. Yes, conjunctival or reactional hemorrhage with extravasation, and hemorrhage from injuries or cough. Yes. Okay, the next point is great prostration after injuries. There is acetic acid. Great prostration after surgical shock. There is acetic acid, and great prostration after anesthetics. There is also acetic acid. But in go for sulfuric acid, there is page number 300. Okay, and sulfuric acid 299, weak and exhausted from some deep-seated dyscrasia. And in sulfuric acid after disease related to blood, there is pain. There is weakness and no other symptom needed. Okay. And in thirst, intense burning, insatiable, even for large quantities in dropsy, diabetes, chronic diarrhea. There is thirst in dropsy, diabetes, and diarrhea, but no thirst in fever. This is important. And in aconite, there is large quantities of burning thirst in fever. Okay. The next page. Anika, we read. What is this? This is acetic acid. Yes, this is important. And can't sleep lying on back. Sleep like this. How can you remember this point? Like, so can't sleep lying on back. The trick is like, imagine that there is acid on back of that. There is acid on back of that person, so he can't sleep lying on back. Sleeps better on back is arsenic, and sensation of sinking in abdomen causing dyspnea. Okay, rest better lying on belly. Lying on belly better is acetic acid and ammonium carb. Okay, but ammonium carb. You want to remember? Yes, ammonium carb. There is amelioration lying on abdomen, and so lying on abdomen is ammonium carb and acetic acid. GI system, diarrhea, copious, exhausting, great thirst, and dropsy, typhus, thysis with night sweats. Night sweats is in acetic acid, and in aconite there is pains during night. Female, there is sour belching and vomiting of pregnancy, burning water breath, and profuse salivation day and night. Day and night salivation, there is acetic acid, and salivation only at night, there is mercurius. And in respiratory system, true croup, hissing respiration. Like we see in aconite also, and venous spongia in hippar, like you read everything. Cough with inhalation. Okay, cough with inhalation, there is acetic acid, and cough during expiration, there is no inhalation. Like wait, in yes, cough during inhalation, there is acetic acid, and cough while expiration, there is Aconite napellus, and cough during inspiration and before midnight, there is spongia, and cough aggravate before morning, this is hippar. Yes, and yes, this is right, correct. True croup and inhalation of vapor of cedar vinegar has been successfully used in croup and malignant diphtheria. Fever, there is hectic fever in abrotinum too, and there is hectic fever in acetic acid, and there is fever only is in Aconite napellus. Like you have to remember everything by this way. No thirst in fever. Okay, relation it antidote anesthetic vapors. You know what? Amyl nitrogen. There is also a point of this is these kind of 25. Go for page number 25. I think this is amyl nitrogen. Yes. Acts promptly by inhalation and resuscitates person sinking under anesthetics. What is resuscitate? Reviving someone after unconsciousness. This is important. You have to write page number acetic acid 3. Okay. And it antidotes opium and stramonium. Next is cedar vinegar antidotes carbolic acid. Yes, this is important. And relation follows well. After China in hemorrhage, we have acetic acid given in hemorrhage after China, and after digitalis in dropsy. And you know what? What is in millifolium? Go for page number 206. And in hemorrhage, millifolium, aconite, arnica in hemorrhage follows well. Aconite and arnica in hemorrhage, acetic acid. Okay. And it aggravates the symptoms of arnica, belladonna, lachesis, mercury, especially the headache from belladonna. Yes, we completed our drug. Thank you, and keep watching and do revise, de-revise, do revise. If don't revise, then don't sleep. If don't revise, then don't sleep, please. Okay. Bye. Thank you. Keep watching DrAyushiExplains.